What's up, guys? I'm JP,
And I'm Ryan.
and we're the CineNerds for you tonight.
What's up?
Um,
What'd you pick for this one?
this week, I picked a movie that I enjoyed the first time I watched. I really enjoyed it. It's called Assassination Nation.
And this one was a first time watch for me. Should I go into first impressions right off the rip?
Yeah, well, hang on. CineNerdsPodcast.com.
I wasn't even. Wait, what? Oh,
We're going to stop. CineNerdsPodcast.com. Share that website. Go to your socials. Go to your socials. Share the .com.
is caring.
Share this video. Everything is at your fingertips on our website. All the links, every link, all of our new episodes. I have a schedule list. We have written reviews, which he's still not done any, and I'm a little behind right now.
But he put my letterboxd up on our website on CineNerdsPodcast.com, and you can see a few reviews on there.
All of our letterboxes are.
All of ours? Is there like a
There's
million
two.
of us?
There's two of us.
Before we get into the more of the show, though,
because we don't count part-time.
There's that. Before we get into the show, I'm gonna have JP. I have something special for JP, and I want him to have this. He's had kind of a mood happen lately. He's been a moody bitch, so we want to make him smile a little bit.
I have that.
So here you go, sir.
What is this? Is this Furiosa?
It's the movie theater theatrical poster.
Should I unroll it now, or should I wait?
I mean, whatever's clever. Show the people what they're looking at.
I won't take it.
Other side.
Yeah.
It's reversed that way. There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. You can kind of see. I'm not going to unroll the whole thing. Oh yeah, that'll go into a frame.
I've talked about it before. I'm in a group called Neotac, and my friend Tim, he sells every month. He sells these awesome movie posters. I don't know how he gets his hands on them, but they're amazing. I'm happy he does because, that one's pretty sweet.
And he knows how big of a Mad Max fan I am. So
me as well too. I mean, Mad Max is amazing. So, and I even got my 12-year-old. He's like fully into it now.
Yeah.
He's seen the Hardy, obviously Fury Road, Furiosa, and Just Beyond Thunderdome, because I think the other ones, kids are so their attention span is not there.
I think the first one is the hardest watch of them all, but the Road Warrior is still probably my next to Fury Road. Road Warrior is my favorite.
My kid brother's gonna kill me for this, but my brother John, when he was a little kid, he looked like the Boomerang Kid in the face, and so every time I saw him, I'm like, "Hey, it's John," and so I told my 12-year-old this, and he thought it was the funniest thing. So he keeps watching for that. We haven't watched through it yet. He just has seen the trailer, but he's like, "Oh, I see what you're saying, Dad." All right, so
initial impressions of Assassination Nation.
This is an equal opportunity offensive movie. So they don't leave anyone out. Everybody is offended in this movie because they literally go at every form of a person. I mean, you've got racism, you've got transphobia, homophobia.
I've got the list right here.
Oh, go ahead.
Actually, when the movie starts, it actually pops up trigger warnings, and it brings a list of the trigger warnings. Violent, disturbing scenes, bullying, blood, abuse, classism, death, drinking, drug use, sexual content, toxic masculinity, homophobia, transphobia, guns, nationalism, racism, kidnapping, murder, fragile male ego, sexism, and frogs.
Specifically, the one that is funny, and I'll touch on a little bit more, not literally, but figuratively, fragile male ego. I found that one hilarious because that is a big part of this for sure.
Yeah.
You've got an amazing. It's so crazy because I'm not a huge Bill Skarsgård fan, but I'm not. I think he's decent for what he does. But in this movie, I just wanted to literally shoot him in the forehead with a nail gun.
He's horrible. You're supposed to hate him.
You're supposed to, but goddamn, he did it well. A little too well for me. But what's crazy though is you got Odessa Young, you have Sookie Waterhouse, who's married to Batman. Sparkles Batman, by the way. You've got Joel McHale, Bill Skarsgård, and then the gentleman I've talked about in a previous episode, Coleman Domingo, who's in the Netflix show The Madness, and he's also in the Fear the Walking Dead. He plays the principal in this. There's just a lot happening in this whole movie the entirety of the time. It does have a slow crawl in the beginning, but it has purpose. It brings you to the forefront of where we get when you get midway through the movie, when things start spiraling and you start understanding why you had to unpack all of the things that you get to, and it's well worth the watch. So my initial impression was, this is a fucking good movie. It's so good that I bought it right away after I watched it.
Yeah. So, and kind of like I said, I watched this movie. What year did this? I did not watch this when it came out. This movie came out in 2018. So I was a little late to this movie. I watched this movie, I think, like 2 years ago, and on a kind of a blind watch, I had seen something where somebody was talking about this film, and I was like, "It sounds a little interesting." So I watched it, and I was kind of blown away. I was like, "Wow, there's a lot of shit in this film." I mean, it's a lot to process, not just a lot to unpack, but it's a lot to process.
Will we be airing this one right after the Idiocracy episode?
Yes.
So to that point, we talked about it in the Idiocracy episode, so I'm just going to put this out there. This is something this movie is almost more relevant now than Idiocracy was. We talked about how relevant Idiocracy was, but this movie is scary relevant because it is modern times. And in the Idiocracy episode, we talked about the director, Mike Judge, who he wished he had made, if he had made the movie later, we would have looked into social media aspects and cell phones. This does just that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but outside of it, Idiocracy is a comedy. This is it's
got comedic moments.
It has moments, but this is in a lot of ways, it's a pretty terrifying film.
Yes, without a doubt. And so first of all, I'll rewind here, and I'm just gonna say before we get into the bulk of this movie takes place in the town of Salem, Massachusetts, so where the witch trials were. Now, when I first heard this title and JP said, "This is what I want you," this is because we assign each other movies, we pick movies, and that's kind of what we watch. When I first heard this, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking like Lavalantula, Invisible Raptor, because Assassination Nation, when I hear that, I'm thinking, okay, it's probably going to be some premise where there's multiple assassins, they're all fighting each other, they're all killing each other. It's probably horrible. I really thought the worst and went into this with really low expectations. God damn, was this a good movie. Anyways.
And the funny thing was, you chose Idiocracy, and I had I had talked about doing this movie back
a couple times, yeah,
last fall, and this is a movie that I actually wanted to review before the election, and
that probably would have been bad.
That I want, and I'd actually, the last time I had talked about doing this film, James was here, and the reason I put it off was because I really actually wanted James to watch this film, and so my thought process was, we'll do this, and we'll do it before the election. It'll be kick-ass doing this film before the election. I'll make James watch it. I really thought James would really like this film.
I think he would, because James has a big pet peeve with current mindsets and technology and stuff like that. So
yeah.
He would have.
Yeah, I felt like he would really enjoy this film. Well, and then James got busy and couldn't be on the show, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put this on the back burner, and I'm going to hold it for him. And then we got into the holiday season, and I was like, we can't do this in the holiday season. So now here we are, and when he said Idiocracy, I immediately was like, got to do Assassination Nation. It's the other side of the coin.
So basically in this movie, you've got the small town of Salem, Massachusetts. Most people know each other. They make it very close-knit community. You get the whole kind of premise as it's unfolding right off the rip, but all the students within the school know each other very well too, and know each other in depth, or at least they think they know each other very well. You get kind of misled in the beginning because there's basically the mayor of the town is the first to succumb to uh, him. He's hacked, and they release all of his videos, all of his information,
all of his text messages.
Yeah, he's run a whole campaign based on family values, this and that. Turns out he has a preference for men, and he likes to dress up. And there's all these videos of this to correspond with that, and they release it all. Whoever the hacker is,
and that's what this whole movie is about. This hacker is hacking everybody in Salem and releasing all their text messages, emails, pictures, anything that have access to on their phones or computers. They're releasing it for people to see. So all these people, they're finding out about people's affairs. They're finding out, who did this or that, So a little better context. So, yeah, the mayor, his information is the first to get released.
But they don't know who's releasing it. So as the movie progresses, you get more people involved. More people are coming into play. I'm just giving the quick general. The next person is the principal. And then from there, Lily. Lily gets kind of dragged into the mix of it all. Well, no, let me rephrase that. Multiple students get pulled out.
Yes.
But Lily gets most of it pinned on her. And one of the videos released of the main character, Lily, who's played by Odessa Young, is they don't know it's her exactly. It's they just show like from her like lower cheek down in her body in a sensual video, and then text exchanges with a local father and
older married man,
which was interesting because in the beginning of the movie, because she lives across the street from this older man, and she would babysit his daughter. And so in the beginning of the movie, the daughter runs over, gives her a big hug. The dad walks over. She seems like she's kind of put off. Then the mom walks over, and Lily's more uncomfortable because nothing's happened, but they've exchanged text messages.
They've basically sexted, and back and forth, and sent photos of each other, very risque photos, and.
So this isn't even any of the good stuff.
This
by the way.
Isn't even any of the good stuff.
This is like just where you're getting. This is that slow drive, that slow build of the story.
So, and that kind of sets up what initially kind of happens when everybody's stuff gets released. Everybody's stuff starts getting released, and obviously this father's stuff gets released first. And you start seeing images of her, but they're cut off, and.
Her main boyfriend is Mark, played by Bill Skarsgård, and this is one of the pivotal moments where I already didn't like him by this point in the movie, but at one point when those videos get released, or the sexting and all that with Lily, he recognizes a birthmark on her, and he wants to verify it's her and shame her basically for humiliating him. So him and his Jocko buddies hold her down and pull up her clothes and look at the birthmark to verify it's her, take pictures of her, and they send it out saying it's all her fault, essentially.
Yeah. And it's a very, you get angry watching the scene, what they're doing to Lily. They're basically tearing her clothes off and holding her down to take pictures of her to prove that she's the one in the photos for the married man.
Yeah, it was not a fun moment of the movie because any decent person or any good person would just instantly be enraged like I was.
Yeah. Back to the mayor. I don't know which scene I want to talk about first. Let's start here first because it happens first. So after the mayor's information gets released, all the girls, so you got these 4 main girls, and they're hanging out in the pool. Well, what's her name? Bex is talking about this mayor, and all these homosexual photos and photos of him cross-dressing get released, and she's basically, fuck him. Blah, blah, I have no pity for him because Bex is trans. She's basically she's openly saying, well, I had to endure this stuff being trans, and he fought against people like me, but now it's come out that he is secretly in this type of lifestyle.
Well, no, this was after that. This scene was after he had already killed himself. It was after, because she goes, "Why should I feel sorry for him killing himself? Because so many of my people kill themselves every day." Essentially,
you're right. I got them mixed up.
No, yeah.
So the mayor ends up killing himself, in front of he goes out to actually, address the people and
does it in front of them.
And then at this point, Bex is like, fuck him, because And of course, Lily's kind of defending him. Lily's like, well,
He's the victim.
He's a victim
Yeah.
here. He was scared. You're stronger than he was. And Bex is, of course, like, I don't care. Fuck him. He wasn't for trans people, but yet,
But he was playing dress up and then had his own little vices and his own attractions. So yeah, that was actually a pretty strong point, I felt like, and there's a whole love story there with Bex too, and a closeted member of the football team, and it's only convenient to him when he chooses to be attracted to her. So that becomes part of the focal point of the story too, is that as things progress.
Yeah, there's a whole party scene where he has sex with Bex and then immediately gets up after having sex and saying, "You're not going to tell anybody about this."
Yeah. And then he walks out and she starts crying. It's a whole thing. Yeah. And then they proceed to all have so there's 4 girls, by the way. So just so we're all on the same page, there's 4 girls. Lily's the main character. Bex is the one we were just talking about. And there's Em and there's Sarah. And I don't want to say they're like Mean Girls from the movie, but they kind of have a Mean Girls vibe to them.
But they're not necessarily mean girls.
No, yeah. People are saying they are and making them into things they aren't because of all these rumors, gossip, the social media. And mind you, a lot of this, I love when movies do this modern day. When you have side screen, you see the text being exchanged on the side of the screen, and you see things happening like that. That keeps unfolding, and you see what's being texted back and forth between the older male across the street and Lily. You see what the friends are texting each other, what's going on there. You're seeing these secrets come to fruition. You're seeing the videos like they'd be shown now on social media. It's very impressive the way they put the modern spins on all these things.
Yeah, no, this film is beautifully shot. And I did read one thing, because this was written and directed by Sam Livingston, which is obviously a male. So, which is the first time I watched this film, I didn't realize that he directed this, and I was actually a little surprised that a man actually wrote this and directed it. Because of the content and what it is. But I did read that he wrote this, and then the girls that he casted, he sent them the script and said, "What changes do I need to make this more relevant to you?"
I mean, that's awesome.
And so he went back and implemented those changes. The girls actually said, "Well, we need this. This needs to be changed." So he actually got the actresses' input on the actual final script of this film.
And that's intelligent as hell, because it's like any workplace. The manager is only as good as his team. And to me, like, by him including them and making them have a say in what's happening, it definitely helped. And I feel like there's a sequence later in the movie that's like the badass walk scene with the 4 girls, and I feel like when they're walking in, they probably felt even more empowered in that moment, that helped for that scene to be shot. Mm-hmm. So I really dig that. That's cool.
Yeah. My favorite scene in the movie, I'm just going to go ahead and jump to it because it is later in the movie. Bella Thorne.
Oh, with the baseball bat? That scene? Really?
I love that scene.
Okay.
That scene is just the atmosphere of this whole scene. So
I can agree with that.
Basically what happens is I don't know if the whole town's stuff is released or if it's just the whole school at this point, but all these people's information gets released, and you find out that Bella Thorne's character had gotten these photos of a classmate and like sent them out, like nude photos of her. And she's been kind of ashamed. This classmate has been ashamed of this. So when all this stuff comes out, that she's the one that released them to everybody in the school, the classmate.
That wasn't why.
Wasn't that why?
She was sleeping with her boyfriend.
There was something with her pictures, because she talks about how she'll never be able to get away from all these pictures.
Well, I think there's that element too, but I think that once the girl that was her best friend saw the pictures, she correlated something. She put something together that was happening.
But no, there was pictures that Bella Thorne released of her Yeah, there was that in there too. Because
I missed that.
Yeah, because there's this whole thing about how she's never going to be able to get away from how people look at her because they've seen those photos of her. And
she will never get away from how I look at her too.
So, so she there's this whole sequence where everybody's freaking out because all this information came out on everybody, and so like the music and the mood of the build up of this classmate grabbing a bat and walking through the school, and then walking into the gymnasium with a giant American flag behind her, and Bella Thorne and the other cheerleaders are practicing.
So to give more context to his breakout of this, that scene, it was reminiscent to me of when you see the slow motion cheerleaders in Smells Like Teen Spirit video from Nirvana. They're doing the same thing. They're doing a cheer session. It's an empty gym. It's just them practicing. So it adds to that eerie quiet almost, and there's music playing in the background as the former best friend is walking towards her. She's acquired her bat. She's kind of dragging it, kind of walking it, picks it up when she gets in the gymnasium, and she's walking towards the back of Bella Thorne's character, and she just hits her right over the head.
Right in the head with a bat.
Yeah.
And then after she's arrested, this is the other thing too. After they arrest her, she said that she actually tells the cops. She said, I swore that if I ever found out who released those photos, that I would kill them.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
And so that's what she did. She grabbed a ball bat and hit Bella Thorne across the head with it and killed her.
One of my favorite scenes is once they found out that now that Lily's been blamed, should I say, they're literally on the hunt for Lily and her friends. So this is where the fragile male egos come into play. This is where your sexism comes into play. The killing, all the shit that goes wrong with the town. Essentially, it becomes a modern day witch hunt, which is why it's so prevalent to me that this is taking place in Salem. Now, at this point, too, because the girls are all scared, for whatever reason, maybe you remember context of this, I don't know why they chose to all dress in red, but they all dress in red. And to me, that was like the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah,
Salem witch trials.
They never really said they were laying around the house with these red jackets on.
They're like red latex jackets,
yeah.
and then they have like red undergarments too. But all four of them are dressed this way. They're all ready for business. It seems like they're just prepared because they know people are coming at them, but they didn't know to what extent. So when the masked up Jockos arrive, because they all start wearing masks at this point. They invade what's her name?
Well, it's M's house.
Well, it's M's house. They invade M's house, but her mom Nance is there. Nance is kind of like the mom they all go to for everything. And I love Nance's character because she took no shit, and these pieces of shit that came into her house, she went right at. They had guns, she had a gun, and she started shooting at them. She took out a couple, but ultimately they got her. But I'll tell you what, man, if you're coming for my kids, I'm either dead or you're gonna die.
It's a wild scene because you see all these men walking on the roof, walking on the balconies, walking around the house,
across the yard, outside of the doors,
trying to get into and getting in the house. And then while they're in the house, they're grabbing all the other girls. They're trying to get to Lily, but they're grabbing the other girls and kidnapping them and taking them hostage. And it's a pretty intense scene. I mean,
and this is a cool scene for Bex because Bex ends up in the pool with a nail gun, and it goes really, really well for her.
Yeah.
So that was a cool moment when you see anyone getting killed with nail guns. I'm a fan. I love it. I don't know why, but nail guns are cool.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a great scene. I'll back it up a minute. After all this information comes out, and Skarsgård
McDonald's
takes I like McDonald's. Gets his photos of Lily. Lily goes home. It's out that she's the one that was texting the married older gentleman, and her parents kick her out of the house, and so she's walking down the street. No shoes, half naked, just in like these little shorts and like a little tank top or something. She's not much on. And these guys roll up to her and start harassing her, going, "Oh, you're Lily, you're the whore, and won't you come talk to me, But I found this scene is so disturbing because He's filming Lily, talking shit to her, calling her a whore, and telling her to come to him, while he has a knife in his other hand. And like it's I can't comprehend how or why. And I know there's guys that are like this out there. I just, in my mind, I can't comprehend why. Why would you act this way?
He saw her body online. He then proceeded to follow her with an intent. You can tell.
Oh yeah.
And the end result of this whole scene is beautiful. So I'll let you keep going from there.
So he ends up jumping out. She takes off running between houses. He jumps out with knife in hand, and he runs around the house, and she ends up hitting him in the face with a shovel.
Well, she hides behind a little corner with a shovel in her hand, and as soon as he passes that corner, whack, just down for the count.
And then you see a small kid there holding a frog. You know, there's the trigger warning for the frog. But yeah, it's even said in this movie. At some point, Lily says, you know, you see naked photos of a girl, and your first instinct is to kill her, you know, and that's exactly what this scene was. I mean, but and
she wasn't even naked in the photos. It was just a sensual, like, exposed. Like, she had her bra on, and so it wasn't even that. But the way that these things got blown out of proportion, it literally turns into a social media style modern day witch hunt from there. But
it's just the mentality of some of the men in this film, just it blows me away. And I say this with all sincerity that I know there's a lot of men out there. I mean, you see women post on Facebook or X or whatever social media you're on with, well, you know, I've been getting these messages from this guy or you know, whatever, or this guy's stalking me. This shit is in this film, and it is fucked up. It is so fucked up.
Yeah, the way that these 4 girls' lives got just upturned and messed with is just ridiculous, and I think that's what takes it home, though. It's what helps build everything. But the scary part isn't just how their lives were turned upside down in this movie. The scary part is how quickly the society that was surrounding them, their community, their loved ones, how everybody just turned on them because of rumors and these small little microaggressions that turn into major things. But the fact that the police were involved in this, and it was a full-out witch hunt, and that's where we get to, essentially. The whole town is looking for them.
The sheriff is trying to kill them.
Yes. And so at one point, I'm forgetting the FBI portion. Wasn't there an FBI portion where they tried to come into town? Maybe I don't know if they were.
Well, they were working with the FBI to try to figure out who was hacking it.
Who the hacker was. That's right. Okay.
And that's where they found out that there was a major download and upload
that happened
from her house. And that's why they started coming after Lily, because they exposed Lily as the hacker because of the data flow that was going through her house. So
and at this point too, there's a little teeny scene that keeps you off the trail of what's actually happening too. So, by the way, I know we've gotten midway through this whole review and we're talking through it, but I just want to tell you guys, if you haven't seen this movie and you're listening to this, press pause, stop, come back and listen, because a lot of the stuff going forward, like, we're going to talk about some major points here, and this movie's really worth a watch. First time watch, I wish I would have listened to JP and watched it sooner, but please go watch it. It's amazing. That said, the little thing that happens is that she's looking at she goes into her computer. She can see somebody starts messaging her, and she looks at her computer and finds the IP address of where that's coming from. And it says Russia. Mm-hmm. So it's clearly a shadow server somewhere, whatever. And so she doesn't know what's going on. She blocks that server, and she thinks that's the end of it. But this major upload and download has already happened. There's already those things that are out there. And so that's where they kind of lure it back to her, even though it wasn't her. And these people lose their goddamn minds when the whole town's trying to hunt down these women. There's a huge empowering moment too. So basically, the 3 girls have regrouped. They all have. Oh, we got a whole. There's a really
big scene.
I forgot about. Yeah, this is the big scene. So, what you've been built up to at this point. Joe McHale is the older gentleman that lives across the street. And what you've been built up to at this point is that the town is aware that he's cheated on, or thinks he's cheated on his wife already, even though there was no actual sexual interaction. But Joe McHale, he's slighted by that. He wants to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And so he's batshit himself. And we didn't know that till this moment. She goes across the street thinking she's going to be safe with him because of their sexting. And he's already told her that his wife left him and made up this whole thing. She goes over there and he's fucking off his goddamn rocker too. And he wants to take advantage of her and puts her in a compromising position. She tries to hide in her bathroom and finds the wife's dead body in the bathtub.
The wife and child.
Oh, I didn't see the child's in there too. God,
they're
both
in there. Yeah,
I was hoping I didn't see that.
Yeah,
maybe I blocked it out. I don't know.
The wife and child are. The whole bathroom is a bloody mess, and the wife and child are in the tub. And Lily goes in there, locks herself in there, and falls into the tub. That's how you find that they are deceased.
But she ends up winning the altercation between the two of them.
We won't say how.
No.
You need to see that.
Yeah. But then she proceeds to go into one of his other rooms, and he's got a blanket sprawled out all over the entire floor with every gun, knife, weapon, whatever you can think of. It's pretty much there with the exception of rocket launchers. Mm-hmm. And so her and her two girls, they team up. They get their shit ready. They load up everything, all the guns and weapons they have, and all of a sudden you get the bad girl walk happen. You got this, they're strutting, they're going towards Bex.
Yeah, because the high school, the jocks have actually caught Bex. The sheriff had the other two girls. Lily saves the other two girls from the sheriff. Well, the jocks have Bex, and they are stringing her up to hang her. And she's begging for her life. The guy that had feelings for her, the guy that had slept with her earlier in the film, is there, and they're forcing him to help string her up.
Because they know about him from the stuff that's released.
And at some point, he actually takes the noose off of her and says, look, this can't happen. We can't be doing this. And so they end up handcuffing him to a
door handle or whatever.
It was a drain.
Right.
Like a little street drain. And they beat him up and handcuff him to this drain. Put the noose back on her. Then you get the slow walk from the other three girls showing up to save Bex. But they are literally going to string Bex up for being trans. Is essentially what's happening.
But the bad bitch walk happens. So, and they tear shit up.
Then there was a gunfight.
Oh, Willem Dafoe. There was a firefight. Anyways, the scene that ensues after that essentially is, they kill these jocks. They, with the exception of the leader, what happened? No, wait, he gets killed, but it takes a second with him. Doesn't there?
No, they let him go.
They did let him go.
They let him go. He drops his gun. He begs for forgiveness. Bex has a gun to his head, and she puts it down and walks away.
Okay,
she
I forgot about that.
She becomes the bigger person.
And then it was funny because she goes up to the guy that she has feelings for, and they're talking, and she goes, "Thanks for not actually killing me." Is that way she said it? Yeah. I was like, huh? So that was funny. But then they go from there, and now they've got this. All four of them are ready to take on the next phase of this. And as they're walking, there's this monologue that's happening too, and the monologue that happens inspires all the girls that are in the community, which it's a cool scene. It really is, where all the girls are coming out of the house and they're behind them, backing them up.
It's kind of like it's very reminiscent. I don't know if you've ever seen this film, but the 1980s film Legend of Billie Jean.
Yeah,
it's very reminiscent of Legend of Billie Jean. With, if you've ever seen that film, you have Helen Slater, who people start rallying behind, and and she starts marching to this at the end of the movie to this guy that essentially tried to rape her. He got shot, and they're rallying behind her, and they're all forming behind her, walking to where she's going. Essentially, that's what Assassination Nation does. They have all these girls rallying behind your four main girls, leading up to a face-off with the angry public that are witch hunting them, essentially. So, There's very and I say that because there's a lot of similarities between the Legend of Billie Jean and Assassination Nation in a lot of ways. Where this movie is actually has more trigger warnings, but you still have the witch hunt, and there's a lot of that element in the Legend of Billie Jean. And I feel like there's certain elements of Assassination Nation that were directly influenced. I mean, to me, it feels like some of the stuff is actually directly influenced from the Legend of Billie Jean. I don't know if you ever caught that, but for me, that's.
I mean, I saw Legend of Billie Jean, I think, when I was like 12. Like, so it's been a long time since I saw
I've seen it,
but I remember the premise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, so you know what was really weird for me was JP knows I like to do this. I like to not just have my opinion in this. I like because it's easy to have a streamlined thought when you see something. I like to hear what everyone's saying about things. So I'll go down the rabbit hole every so often, and I'll listen to different YouTube reviews and different things, and I'll listen to both sides of the coin, bad and good. And this one was one of the ones that was really a love-hate relationship for a lot of people. Some people loved it. Some people were just over the top hating it. And I'm one of the people who love this. This movie, legit, start to finish, was great. Had great lessons to be learned in it, things to walk away from the movie with and enjoy it, and great scenery, great imagery. I go back to this again. Them wearing the red and the scarlet letter was so impactful for me because it was in Salem, because this was a modern day witch hunt. It was exactly what happened back then. They weren't even given a chance to give their side of the thing. They weren't given any rights really. They were all attacked, and Nance even lost her life. Poor Mama Nance.
Yeah, and I'll say the one thing, I have a love-hate opinion on one aspect of this film.
Oh boy, here we go.
The climax of them actually facing off. You got all these girls leading up to what you think is going to be this major battle fight or something, and it cuts away. There's no fight at the very end. It cuts away and goes back to the police station the following day, and then that's when you see they found who the hacker was, and you find out. I don't know if I even want to say who it was in case somebody is actually watching.
Well, again, you've been warned, so we told you to stop. So spoilers ahead. Here's what's going on.
The data it did come from her house, but it was her little brother that was the one hacking and releasing all this. And you hear the cops talking, the lawyers talking, saying basically, you know, you're going to be in jail for the rest of your life. You know, all these people were killed and murdered, and all because of what you did. And they're essentially saying you're not going to get off from this, even though you're underage. You're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. And when they asked him why he did it, and he's just like, I did it for the laws. You know?
Yeah, I have that actually written down here.
Yeah.
The kid literally, and it's so funny because when they're sitting there's a scene early in the movie where they're sitting at the family dinner table, and there's the little brother, Lily, her mom and dad, and they're talking about what all's happening, and Lily's actually defending and this scene as well. She's defending the vice or the mayor, and she's basically saying, you know, he's a victim in this. I don't understand why everyone's just saying that he did this. He didn't do this, or no, this is the principal at this point, because they're accusing the principal of being a pedo, and that was insanity too. And she's like, no, he's a victim. He didn't do this. These are just allegations, and when she's doing that,
and the reason they called him a pedo was he had pictures.
It was his own kid.
Pictures of his kid, not like in a sexual manner, but like how you would take pictures of your child in the bathtub.
Kid in the bathtub on the mantle in their house. Yeah. Like, so it was crazy. But the whole point though, after she storms off because she's upset with the conversation from them, the brother's sitting there and he's like almost like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. Did you see the video of this? And that's the mindset of this kid and kind of the mindset of the fragile male egos. I love saying that in this because that's a lot of what they're pointing out in this, is that there's a lot of that in this world. But yeah, this kid to do that, and then you find out in the end it was all him anyways. It did it because he did it for the lulz. Like really, like, so that was one of the complaints on the videos I watched. Is somebody was like, the last word of this movie is lulz. I'm like,
fucking love.
I think it's fucking great.
I mean, I have more of a problem with not seeing the climax of the fight, but I love the ending. The ending of the film is great. Yeah, and
speaking of climax, you know who didn't see climax? Bex. Anyways.
Wow.
She saw tears.
Oh, wow.
It was, I felt bad for her. I did. That was so, he like just like had his way and he went on his, anyways.
He's going to call her, though. He's going to call her.
Don't tell anyone until I call you. Yeah.
Oh, so, yeah.
Dude, him and that dude and all his bros that are all the football team, the meatheads, they're the way they went over the top to show the shirtless hugs in the locker room and just the amount of homophobia that's within them. Like, just, it was.
Oh, it's all through this movie, start
Yeah.
to finish. It's very homophobic and transphobic. Start to finish, and it's just like, oh, you can't talk to her. She's trans. You can't. It's
So you go back to the witch trials and you apply, if you didn't agree with a religion or you did something that wasn't within Christianity, you were a witch. That's basically where they went. And in this instance, it's the same thing. It's basically like, if you're not fitting the agenda of what they deem normal, you're the new witch. You're that person. And that message alone, I loved that for this movie because it really, really just brought it to another modern day application.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Budget.
God damn it. I thought I wrote the budget down for this one. I'll go 12 mil.
A little high, 7 million.
Okay.
Box office. This movie lost money.
Yeah, I was gonna say because this one, again, the name. I think the name was not the right name choice for this. If I had to guess,
I love the name. I love the title, but it is misleading.
It doesn't fit the story.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I don't know. Let's go 4 or 5.
Worldwide, it was 2.5 million.
Okay.
So it lost money. I would imagine this movie probably didn't make a lot of money on digital or Blu-ray as well. Because I don't hear people talk about this film, but I feel like this film 10 years from now is going to be considered a major cult classic. I think once people start finding this film,
that's the thing with this one. This one is once teens, kids, anyone that's living right now sees this, I think it'll catch on really fast because of how relevant it really, really is, especially the phone and social media, computer, all that hacking, all of it is now. It is happening now. So.
Yeah. All right. Ratings.
All right. Your choice movie, so I'll go. And I'm going to come in. So I really, really enjoyed this movie thoroughly, start to finish. Thought it was great. Did not know what I was getting into because the name was misleading. Couldn't have been happier, though, with the outcome. It was one of those movies that as I watched, I was like, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. Found myself continually doing it. So I will definitely recommend anyone watch this. It's definitely an awesome movie. I like the direction. I like the scenery, the imagery, the whole bit, the story, everything. So, but I'm not going quite over the top with this one, though. But I'm going to say 3.9 CineNerds.
Okay. That's fair. For me, this movie, you said it. I love so much about this film. I love the style of the film. I love the music. The music in this film is really, there's some really great choices for music throughout start to finish in this film. The performances are really solid. They're really good. The trigger warnings throughout the film, some of them get very hard to watch. And not for me, not visually hard to watch. Some of them are really emotionally hard to watch. But I watched, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I watched this movie when I first watched it a couple of years ago. I fucking loved this film. Rewatching it this time, and I've watched it I think once or twice since then. I still really enjoy this movie. This is probably maybe the fourth watch in 2 years since I first found this movie. I still enjoy it. Every time I've watched it, I've continued to really enjoy this film. It's not a 5. You know, this isn't a perfect film. There's a lot of issues. There's still issues in this film, as much as we've really praised it.
Stay tuned in the coming weeks for a perfect 5.
So that being said, I can't highly recommend a movie as as I can this. I highly recommend everybody needs to watch this film. But you're going to go away with the critics. You're either going to really love it or you're going to hate it. I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. But I'm pretty close right there with you. I'm sitting at a 4.1.
Okay.
So we're pretty close on this one. It's not a perfect movie. It's not a 5. It's not a 4.5. But it's.
I honestly like. It's so weird because the reason why I didn't go any higher than what I did is more so because of the unnerving parts that made me mad.
That's what I mean about the trigger warnings. So, like, it's hard to watch because you'll get angry.
When they're holding her down and they're trying to look for the birthmark, what's happening with Bex, the whole story. Because, whether you are somebody who's mature enough or not to deal with trans people, this poor girl, the shit she goes through in this movie is so fucking like deep, and I felt for her. I did. So it's there that the what's her name? Is it Mia? Who's the girl that her mom dies?
Oh, M.
So her mom Nance. When Nance goes, like there's a lot of parts in this movie that get you like worked up, and or just Bill Skarsgård in general, or the jocks, or the sheriff. I mean, there's so many trigger points, and it's meant to make you feel that way. But at the same token, it also angered me to the point where I probably would have scored it higher if I wasn't so angry half the movie.
And that's where my rating comes in at. That's why, and I hate to say that's why I give it a lower rating, but it's the truth. It
makes it a better movie, but at the same time, you're so mad about it. It's
and that's why I say I can't. I mean, there's such a high recommend that you watch this, even though I'm not giving it a perfect score, is because it is that good of a movie.
All right.
Any recommendations?
Yeah, I got one. Have you watched Invincible yet?
You're going to hate. Everybody's going to yell at me. I have not watched one season of Invincible.
Bro, you are in for a fucking amazing experience. I can't praise an animated show more highly, especially a superhero themed one, than I do Invincible. I love Invincible. It drags a little bit as it progresses, but it's got the way that they break it out. You get all the stuff you want. Like, you love Dragon Ball Z, the formula for that, very similar to that, but God, they could keep going for seasons, and I'll take every bit of it. And it's just really good. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I just wrapped where we're at now. We're on season 3. Jeffrey Dean Morgan came into this cast for the season, and in the last few episodes is a character named Conquest, and it's just so well done, well written. It reminds you of the comic books you read as a kid, and seeing those stories unfold. Like, it's so good, and there's so much blood in it, mature content too. So it's not a kid show by any means. It's definitely for us, for our age. So yeah, Invincible, if you haven't watched it yet, I don't want to give away anything, but fuck, is it good.
So I'm going to recommend a film this time. And this is a film that has been in my Vudu account for at least a handful of years, and I have not watched it. And I got it as a free film for like buying so many, I think, Sony films, and they give you a list of a few free films you can pick at the time. They don't do that anymore, but the list was pretty, whenever I had that free movie, and saw this one, and I was like, I'll just select this one. Never watched it until a few weeks ago. And it's a 2016 film called Nocturnal Animals. Have you ever seen this?
No, I have not.
This movie really surprised me. It has
when is it from again?
2016.
No, it's not what I thought it was.
This film really surprised me. This film is about a woman who receives a book manuscript from her ex-husband, and essentially she is reading this book, and things are playing out. Her husband is flown to a different city. It's really hard to describe, exactly what this movie is about.
Yeah, 'cause you're not selling me so
yeah,
far.
it's essentially things play out to where, as she's reading this book, you're seeing what's happening with the book, and you're led to believe that some of this is loosely based on their life before they got divorced, but essentially this husband, wife, and child are driving down this isolated road. These guys start fucking with them. They end up wrecking them, and they end up kidnapping them and killing the mother and child. And the father is spending his every bit of his life trying to get the cops to find the killers. And a lot more stuff happens, and it's a wild ride because it's almost like a reconnection of love, lost or forgotten relationships between the ex-wife and ex-husband, and then the story that's played out from his manuscript of these violent deaths and these killers and this manhunt for these killers. It turns into a pretty wild ride. It's a movie that I probably would have never watched, and I was bored one night and here recently, and I was like, this is in my account. I have never watched this, and it's been sitting in my account. I'm just going to watch it. And blindly, had never watched a trailer for it, nothing. And when it was done, I was just like, wow, that movie was really good. And the main girl is, what's her name? Amy Adams.
Okay.
Is the main girl in the film.
I thought you were talking about, when I said what year, I thought you were talking about the old Nev Campbell movie, Wild Things.
Oh, no.
I don't know why I thought that.
No, this stars Amy Adams, and one of the main cops is, and I can't think of his name. You'll know it, but the guy that played Zod in Man of Steel.
Oh, come on.
I can't think of his name right now, but yeah.
Oh, it's going to drive me nuts because I love him, because she's in Man of Steel as well.
Yeah.
And you know my favorite role she's ever done is? The Muppet movie. I think she's fucking phenomenal.
I don't know if I've seen that.
With, what's his name, Jason Segel?
I don't think I've seen that.
Am I a Muppet? Oh my God, it's such a good. That is like one of the cooler. That's probably the coolest Muppet movie that's ever been made. If I had to give my opinion on that, that was just spectacular. But I digress.
Yeah. So yeah, Nocturnal Animals.
All right, cool. Well, there, a couple recommendations. A great movie to recommend as well, and review from both of us. So give it a watch. Assassination Nation.
CineNerds Podcast.
Yeah.
.com. Check us out. Till next time.
Later, guys.
Later.